Why do I keep hitting this button? Sorry guys if y'all are watching. Move this over here. Anyway, so as you can see in the subject, I put MMTT multi-table tournament, rebuying, and late registration. It's only good to do that online. And I say that to say I was playing a circuit event yesterday, or no, Friday. I was playing a circuit event on Friday. And, ooh, we got there. Hold on, let's wait on that discussion here. 15K left. Let's try to take them to Value Town. Maybe he shoves on us. If he calls, we got paid. Aces cracked him. Anyway, so this is a rebuy. I got on here late. Started at 5:15. I got on here about 5:45. Slept past my alarm, and when I got on the laptop, I needed to do some updates. So I always do the updates before I play. Seems like when it needs updates, it makes the computer run a little bad. But anyway, I got on here late, and I went out, and I was like, well, I can do one re-entry in here, because after that the blinds are like so high, you're not able to catch up. But like I was saying, I played this circuit event on Friday, and every break I'm updating, my chipograph, and I'm also updating the number of entries because it's telling me what the average chip stack is versus mine. And there was just so many re-entries and late entries. And in a live tournament at a brick and mortar casino where you're seeing the players, I just would never do that. If I arrive more than the first blind level late, I'm upset. And I got there right on time. Like, by the time I got my ticket and went and sat in my seat, I had missed the explanation of the rules, but I was there for the first hand dealt. And there's just a level of importance of being on time. I don't know about anyone else, but if I'm late to work, or if I'm running late to somewhere I need to be on time, it creates a level of anxiety and stress, and I know people say, well, that's just a poker tournament. Yeah, but you're late. Like, your brain goes into the state of late, and that anxiety and stress and that heart rate and everything. And then when you sit down, you're trying to catch up, or you I feel less comfortable than when I'm on time. I'd rather be on time than late to a tournament. I don't care about being late to work. I'm never like super late, but I'm a constant 5-minute late, 10-minute late kind of guy. But it depends on the line at the convenience store where I get my coffee and my food. It's not, or there's a train that stops on the tracks in this town. So when you have that, and this train is a constant thing, so everyone knows it. My employer knows it, so they don't get upset if you're late. because they know about the train situation. Now, it can't be a all the time thing, but you know, if the train does block you, they understand. They know you can't predict when the train's coming. Some days it comes, some days it doesn't. Some days you leave early, it comes early and stops and sits there forever to make you late. You know, we have a draw. We're staying. You know. That's ugly. We need a spade. How expensive does he want to make it? Come on, spade. It gives us 32 reasons to fold right there. The board pairing. Oh yeah, like I'm gonna call. Stupid ass. Anyway. But I was just amazed at, and another thing too, like, you know, the tilt factor is huge, because this is already like a WSOP circuit event tournament, so it's a big deal. They're not in town all the time. There's a lot of money on the line. They have guaranteed prize pools. There's a lot of players show up, a lot of really good players, matter of fact, you know, and it's a big deal to most of the players that come out and play it. And just, if you lose and then you buy back into the same tournament, because I've seen people getting seated at the same table they were just at. They got sat back at our table, and it was just like, oh man, this guy. And then he loses again. He goes to rebounds. This time he gets a different table. Well, I'm all for chasing your dreams, but the buy-in to this tournament was only $250. They're normally $300, but this one was $250. So you're saving $50. But if you get 3 bullets in, that's $750. Like, I know some people make a lot of money and they have that kind of money to blow on gambling, and maybe their financial situation isn't mine. But I try to aim towards taking one shot at multiple tournaments without rebuying. You know, so I'll look at the entire tournament schedule for the 10 days that they're here, and I'm like, okay, I'd like to play this tournament. I'll take one shot at it. I'll play this tournament. I'll take one shot at it. You know, and that's kind of my strategy, because even in my cash game experience, I've noticed when I rebuy, I don't win normally. Like I'll lose. You know, so over the long term, if I lose, my policy is get up and go home and come back and play another day. Even if I have the money to rebuy, does not matter. Because in the end, I'm saving money by not buying back in. I'm keeping my bankroll intact, because now I'm on tilt because of loss, you know. So buying back in is not going to make me feel great, you know. I'm chasing my money essentially. I'm trying to get my $200 back out of this 1-2 game. So I'm negative 200. So even if I rebuy for 200 and I get to 400, I'm not up then, I'm just even. And more often than not, I would either break even or lose, and it was more losing than anything. And it has a lot to do with the anxiety of being behind, sitting down with players that have beat you, and then you're trying to play hands more aggressively. You're trying to get money in to get that money back and get back ahead. When it should just be come back tomorrow when you're fresh and buy in and play your best game. And if you do that and win, get up and leave. Don't you don't have to sit in a cash game all day. Some people go and they'll play these marathon sessions, but then they rebuy during these marathons. Like I know tons of players that, man, I've been here since, and it'd be like 12, 16 hours, whatever time they'd say, right? And they're playing 1-2, and they've got 15 to 1800 stuck in this game because they've rebought so much. They get up with like 800 in chips, and you just got there, and you're like, man, you did good. And it's like, oh no, I'm still down. I'm still down 1,000, but I got some of it back. It's like, golly, But some people, that's their, I guess, gambling profile, maybe you call it, where they came here to play, they lose, they're gonna rebuy again, they're gonna rebuy again, they're gonna. And I had a little time period where I'd lose and I'd rebuy and I'd make a comeback and I'd win or I'd break even, and I did it consecutively for like a few times in a row. But I just, I'm not a fan of it. Not in tournaments anyway, because the circuit event tournaments, I mean, if it's a $300 tournament and you got 3 rebuys in, you're just under $1,000, bro. It just it's crazy, Just pick another tournament to play on one of the other days. And I get it. Some people are in town for a certain amount of days and they leave after, so they can't be here for all the tournaments. But a lot of these people were here for like all the tournaments. Like they're here for the whole 10 days. They're in the hotel for the whole 10 days. And, maybe they save their money to be able to afford to do that, Maybe I'm just poor. Maybe lack of funds makes me wiser. I have no clue at this point. Just, maybe they all sell drugs. I don't know. I work for mine, though, so I wasn't trying to 1250 it, but I guess it looks better. That was an accidental slide of the mouse. I was trying to just bet 500, but 1250 works too. But I don't know. That's just my policy. My self-discipline policy. I have a friend that would do that and rebuy a lot, and we both use the same app to track our wins and losses. And I was like, look at all mine. I'm showing them on my phone. I said, you see this session here? Lost 600, lost 400, lost this much, lost this much. Look at my negative for the year. And it's like if I didn't rebuy, I would actually be up if I didn't rebuy in those sessions. And that's why I was pointing out to him. I was like, sometimes it's just better to go home and be like, just go home and play video games. Xbox cost me $500. I pay like $18 a month for Game Pass. Comes out cheaper. So, and it's here in the house. As long as I don't get rid of it, just go in there and turn it on. I feel like I got a better start on this rebuy. I sat down and got the straight. So that kind of helped, and I was able to get value. And maybe my image at this table is a little better versus the people I was playing against before. You know. But yeah, I don't like to say, but I had a good time when I lose. That's also one of my policies. You know, I called a friend after I was eliminated, and I was like, I was 3 hours away from day 2. I said, I got it all in on an open-ended straight draw, and I just didn't get there. And then they were like, well, but did you have fun? And I was like, you're a new friend, and I know you probably say that a lot, but I tell people, do not say I lost but I had fun, because there's nothing fun about losing money. And if you say that, you are trying to put a positive spin on losing, which is a negative experience, and you're essentially just lying to yourself, and you're accepting losing and trying to make it a positive thing. And if you try to make something negative positive, then it can happen to you more often, and you're telling your mind, oh, well, this is a positive experience, when it's not. Let the negatives be the negatives and the positives be the positives. If I lose, I'm upset. I wanted to win. It sucked. What did we learn during the process? That should be the only thing, is what did we learn during this losing process? I could have folded instead of calling all in with an open-ended straight draw, and possibly still got to day 2 with 2 or 3 all-in shoves, one of them being the double up, the rest of them still in the blinds. You know, I could have folded there. You know, I could have took a minute. And that's the thing too. I am not a slow-paced, I need all day to think type of a player. I don't stop and take 5 minutes. If I bet and you raise me all in, I'm willing to put all my chips in if I've made any type of a bet, because I believe in the percentages. Now, sometimes it doesn't happen and you don't catch your card, and then it looks like, oh, you should have just folded there. But honestly, open-ended straight draw with no flush, no threat of a flush, and if I get there, I'm gonna have the nut straight. You know, it's a spot. You know, you want to get there, you don't. You know, I played a hand where I had pocket 3s, and there was an ace on the flop, and the guy bet, and I stayed. It was like ace deuce something, and basically the river, I needed a 3 to make a set, or if a 4 came, I would have the wheel, ace 2 3 4 5, and this guy bet the flop. I called. And then he bet the turn, and I just sat there and thought about it for a minute. And I was like, if I get a 3, I know I'm beating this guy, because he just has ace king or ace queen. And I was like, if I get a 4, I'm beating him too. So I was like, either way, if I get one of those cards, you know, and I had a good amount of chips where I could call his bet. And I was like, I could probably get it all in. So I put out call-in chips, and I closed my eyes while they dealt the turn. When I open my eyes, there's the 4 on the river. And then I think he checked. And or he either checked or he bet. Either way, I went all in. And then he sat there and he stared and he's looking at me, and I just sit here looking bored like this, just not staring at any. I'll stare at my chips, or I'll stare at one of the cards on the table, on the flop, on on the board. I just stare intensely at it the whole time. And then he's thinking. So then I shift. When I shift, he goes, I call. Because I guess he thinks me shifting is a tail because I couldn't hold it anymore. And I was like, I have it straight. And he had to pay the full amount, you know. And, it was a really good spot for me. There was another player at the table. He was really good, right? Like, I knew this guy was like that level. I mean, I'm watching him. I'm picking up on what he's doing. I'm like, oh, okay. And then, so I knew I had to 3-bet him because he would raise light. So there was a hand where he made a raise, or was it a re-raise? No, I raised, and he re-raised me. And I had pocket jacks, and I just picked up all my chips and moved them. And I was like, let's go. You ain't gonna do that to me, because the first hand of the tournament, he beat a guy with 6 deuce, and he hit 2 pair. And like, he 3-bet with the 6 deuce. So I was like, yeah, I ain't gonna get stuck making no tough decisions. We're gonna do it right now, And he thought for a long time, and I never called clock. I let him think. I didn't give a shit, because the fact that he didn't snap call, I was like, yeah, he ain't got it. He was over here fucking around, and he found out. So I was just sitting there waiting, and he finally folds. So during one of the breaks, we talked, and after the hand, he said he had ace queen. And I was like, you fold ace queen? I said, man, you need your gambling license back. You're supposed to gamble there, but, he tries to outplay players flop, turn, and river, on the streets. That's his strategy. So he'll 3-bet pre-flop, because by 3-betting, you don't know he's 3-betting light, and he can represent whatever cards hit the board, because he's been seen 3-betting light as well as 3-betting with the goods. So it's like, if an ace hits and he bets, he may have an ace this time. If 2 twos come out, he may have 6 deuce again, and he's got trip deuces, so I mean, but he thought I was an absolute maniac when we talked on the break, because I won like a huge amount of chips on that pocket threes hand, and then I literally was just like calling people's all-ins. I had good hands though, but I'm like calling everyone's all-ins, and they would beat me. And he was like, dude, you can't give all those chips away. And I was like, man, I get them back. I said, when I play tournaments, my chip stack does this. It goes up and down, up and down. I said, I'm not afraid of the downs. I know how to get it back up. So we bought in, originally the starting stack was 40,000. I had it up to 119,000, and I was chip leader at our table. So they started coloring up through me. While they're coloring up, I lose all these all-ins. And I think the color up's bad luck. I'm gonna tell them, take that shit and leave it out of the game. You do it on the break. Do not bother me while I'm playing, because that shit was horrendous. Anyway, so they're like constantly selling me the black chips and coloring up through me while we're playing the last of this level. And that's the time period where I get stupid and lose all these chips. Not blaming them. I'm just going to tell them they're going to have to wait till the break. That's what the break is for. I'm not doing anything with my chips while playing. And I'll call the tournament director over and let them know how I feel about it. And tell them they can do that shit during the break, because the dealers don't leave the table. It ain't saving no time. You got a 15-minute break. It don't take 15 minutes to color everybody up. Tell them put their stacks in 20s and make it easier. It'd take less than 5 minutes. But that's neither here nor there. That's just for next time. That's just my new policy. I create shit when I get pissed. But so sitting there, and next thing you know, they have to take all the black chips away from me and give it to the new chip leader. Before we even get to the break, before the clock winds all the way down. And it's just freaking stupid. It's just like, but I got down to like 60,000 or 61,000 from 119,000, and then I was right back up to 119,000 again. And I think a lot of that comes with knowing how to play a short stack, less than 40 big blinds, less than 20 big blinds, knowing how to move in and take down the blinds, or take down, people will raise and this person will call. I'll look down. I got king jack suited. I'm all in because this person just raised 4x the big blind, which is a good amount, but and then this person just called. They didn't 3-bet. I'm gonna put pressure, and then they sit there and think for 5 freaking minutes, and then they fold, and I win. So, and if I get called, I'm not crushed. I got 2 cards, I can hit. And the crazy thing is, this guy that I was talking to, he's a really good player. We were kind of just chopping it up, and we get in a spot with each other. We had avoided each other for so long. Like, he pushed on me one time, and I wanted to call, but I fold. Well, this time I actually had king jack offsuit, and the flop came jack high with 2 clubs, but the clubs were rags. So he bet a pretty good amount, and I went all in. And he's thinking. And I mean, he's thinking, and I give it to him. He's a thinker. He's thinking and thinking and thinking. I didn't say a word. I let him think. Then finally he says he calls. I show my king jack. He shows jack 9 of clubs. So he needs a club or a 9. Well, no club, no 9. I take him out. And that's just like me missing my straight draw. He missed his flush draw. And that's a spot where you hope to win, and if it works out good, you got 9 outs. I have 8 outs on my straight draw. So you think you have enough outs and the percentages are there for you to get there, but you just don't. He did his on the flop, and he was 4 to the flush with 2 to come, so I get it. I did mine on the turn because I bet my straight draw on the flop, got called. I bet on the turn, the guy raises me all in, and I'm like, I call. I don't even take 5 seconds because I was like, shit, I don't put this much money in, but I didn't look at my chip stack. I know he had me covered when he went all in. I wasn't even worried about it. And everybody's like, what? You call? I was like, yeah. And he was like, do you have this? And it was like the bottom end cards for the straight. I was like, nope. If I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. Let's go. And then they dealt the last card, and I didn't get the card. And I was like, all right, good game, y'all. I just walk off and leave. Get in the car and go home. Come back home, take a shower, get dressed, and go sing some karaoke and have a blast, as if it never happened, And a lot of people, I guess they don't have something that they do maybe away from poker. Like, I feel like if you play poker online at home, you really don't need to play that much live. Like, if I play cash online, single table tournaments, sit and goes, multi-table tournaments online, like, I can get more poker hands played online for less money than I can at the casino. And even though the casino is a short drive, and it seems like I win there more when I play, I'm also risking more. I buy in for the max at 1-2. I buy in for $200. I normally put $40 on here, $60 on here, and depending on, like, I rebought twice, or I bought in twice in this, so that's $22. I put $39 on here. Okay, I'm not gonna rebuy again, and I'm not gonna add any additional money to the poker account. If I lose this tournament or go out on this one, I'll be done for the day. I'll have the remaining balance to play single table sit and goes and low stakes cash, and I'll run it back up to around here before I play my next tournament. You know, that's kind of my thing. I was like, okay, there's this tournament. It's on Sundays. It's 15,000 guarantee, $11 buy-in. I got in it late, and I felt like, okay, I can take another step, but I won't take a third one at it. You know, the blinds are too high now. If it was earlier and the blinds were lower, I may take a third step at it. But taking multiple stabs at an online tournament is just totally different. I mean, I'm sitting in the comfort of my house. I have pizza in there I can warm up. I got soda, alcohol, you know, just you can plan for it, you know. And it's $11 a piece. It's not $250, you know. So it's just a whole big difference. I mean, the smaller buy-in takes a lot of the stress away. Okay, now he raised from early position, but we got like 3 people behind us. We don't want him to push, but we do want to get these other people to fold. We don't want them shoving. We have a hand, so yeah, we 3-bet. I should have made it close to 6,000. Okay, now we're just gonna call here. That doesn't help our campaign. And we got some thunderstorms going on. I hope I don't lose internet. He does not have a jack. Overpair maybe. Call. I can represent a jack. What if I could scare him? Well, I didn't scare him. He knew I was going to do that. You bitch. He beat me to the point. That's what you get for acting first, I guess. He's out of position. That was my move, motherfucker. He's like, I'm going to steal his move. Yeah. And oh man, so there was an asshole move that happened, man. So 3-way all in, well 2-way all in. Third one, the guy was talking about that's a really good player. It's his decision to make it a 3-way and call. The first guy that's all in, he doesn't have a lot of chips, but it's a good enough amount, you know. And then there's going to be a side pot between him and this other guy that called, because the other guy didn't even call. The other guy went all in over the top. So he asked the dealer what's the difference so he could figure out what the side pot would be versus what the main pot, and what he would stand to, like, is he going to lose if he only wins one pot, because he felt like he had both of them beat. And he's talking out loud telling us this. You know, and I'm like, hey, man, take all the time you need. I'm not worried about it. So one of these late arrival or rebuy assholes, he just sat at the table, hadn't been there 5 minutes. It's his fault he was late, or his fault he had to rebuy, you know. And we're sitting there, and I'm like, man, take all the time you need. And he's literally calculating it. And this asshole sits there and says, clock, it's been more than enough time. He's had more than enough time. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, everybody's like. So the guy was like, that's cool, that's fair, I'm not tripping. And Floor comes over, and they're like, more than enough time has lapsed. And he's still thinking, okay, this is it, I guess, y'all. Queens and 4s with a jack kicker. They gave him the straight. He was on a diamond draw, and they give him the gut shot straight. That's the shit I'll be talking about. I can't get my open-ended with 8 outs, but he gets a 1 outer with 4 outs. Freaking unreal. We're done. Anyway, so this guy, he winds up calling the all in because the tournament director comes over and they were like, okay, you have 30 seconds. I will let you know when there's 10 seconds. I'll count them aloud. So finally, the guy just says, I call. Okay, so the really good player actually flopped the straight. The small stack has a gut shot to a bigger straight to the queen, but it's a gut shot. I don't know what the fuck he's smoking. And then the guy that had the side pot with the smart guy had more chips. He just had a set of eights. And lo and behold, the river gives the gut shot, which we just saw on this hand. The gut shot gets there. So he wins the main pot. The guy that flopped the straight, the smart guy, good player, he wins the side pot. But he winds up losing like 20,000 in chips or something like that because